Would we have Paris Hilton without the club? Would the 2000s still have that breathless, near-death atmosphere if it wasn't for Hyde, Teddy's or Les Deux? No, we wouldn't. The club is an essential part of the Y2K cultural organism. It's where you would go if you were a celeb and had a dispute to settle. It's where you would go if you were an upstart in LA and were trying to climb the sticky social ladder of the city of angels. It's where you would go when you wanted to let your head go, feel the moment, and get your picture taken. Whether you were an actor looking for something a little intimate, or a celebutante looking to flash your intimates, West Hollywood was guaranteed to have something for you, as long as you guaranteed to have something for them. A club is only as popular as its guest. Drama almost always went down on weeknights, which were considered celebrity nights at the hottest locales. That's because most poor people can't afford or manage to go out drinking and dancing until 4 AM on what would normally be a work night. Better for the celebs, as they had to deal with less randos and had more time to pick fights and write dirty words on the bathroom wall. In the club scene's heyday, there was a group of major players who, give or take a few here and there, were guaranteed to be out, craving to taste the ecstasy of the bright lights. There was some major league players like Lindsay, Paris, Nicole and Kim, but the Hollywood scene was made up of so many more characters than just those four, and the personalities that came together during that time really created a magical world that existed just on the brink of the internet, giving us enough that we felt satisfied and craved more, but not too much so we got bored. Whether they were captured getting burned at the door or laughing manically to a sad, bugged up monologue, the stars always knew how to make a scene at the club, and the club returned the favor by providing handfuls of paparazzi ready to take your photo at a moment's notice. Before we get into the clubs themselves, I just want to talk about two really important people, promoters, who helped create the backdrop to all of our favorite Y2K scandals. One is Pantera Sarah, nicknamed the Midwife to LA by Ryan Gosling, who dealt with smaller, intimate clubs that were frequented mainly by actors. The other is Brent Bolthouse, who is probably the most successful LA club promoter in history and worked with many of the clubs that our favorite it girls visited every night, such as Hyde and Lax. Together, they helped to create the 2000s clubbing scene as we know it, and the soap opera dramas of the aughts wouldn't be the same without them. The Hotspots. Les Deux. Located just south of Hollywood Boulevard, Les Deux is one of the most famous clubs, if not the most famous, to ever grace West Hollywood. It became notorious around the nation due to its savvy placement on the hills and gained a great reputation with club seekers, as half of it was outside, so you could dance to music through speakers. First opening in 2006, the club had its heyday straight out the gate until 2009, when it started to struggle under the pressure of a culture eradicating its old ways. The most iconic events to happen at Les Deux are a visibly inebriated Lauren Conrad yelling to Heidi Montag, "You know what you did," on the season 3 premiere of The Hills. One, Lindsay Lohan partied there before she went on a wild ride, striking a curb on Sunset Boulevard. She quickly fled the scene, but cops arrested her while she received treatment at Century City Hospital. Les Deux was also really popular for parking lot wrestling matches. Like, it's literally the big Thunderdome. Teddy's. Teddy's is one of Hollywood's most exclusive clubs, known to turn away massive superstars and any group larger than 5. It's hidden away from paparazzi and prying eyes, as it's located within the Roosevelt Hotel, which explains some of its popularity with massive celebs. The best and hardest night to get into Teddy's was a Monday, whereas the easiest was Friday. If you wanted an easier time getting in, it was recommended to have 3 times as many girls than guys in your group, and also to set up a reservation for VIP Teddy's bottle service to ensure entry. Iconic events that happened at Teddy's include Orlando Bloom having his 30th birthday party there in 2007, which is where, according to Vanity Fair, Lindsay and Hillary buried the hatchet in their feud over mutual ex Aaron Carter in the bathroom, after Hillary saw her other ex, Joel Madden, arrive with Nicole Richie. Teddy's was also famously fined, along with the next club we're about to talk about, for allowing patrons under 21 inside, but why that club specifically was targeted is still a mystery. Mood. Located just off Hollywood Boulevard, Mood was a newer club that went for a short period of popularity before its inevitable demise. It's most famous, as several TMZ articles allude, for being busted several times for their underage celebrity patrons. On the 21st of February 2006, TMZ posted an article that Jesse McCartney, 2000 country idol, was in Mood when he was only 18, violating California law. They also captured videos of 19-year-old Mary Kate Olsen, 19-year-old Lindsay Lohan, and 20-year-old Frankie Muniz coming in and out, drinking underage. Mood was eventually busted on the 8th of December that year, with the club telling TMZ, "We are diligent about IDing people, but certain celebrities ultimately enter lots of clubs who are not entitled to enter." Lax. On the same avenue as Les Deux, La Palma, Lax was one of these celeb and paparazzi favorites. It was co-owned and often frequented by DJ AM, who revolutionized DJing in the mid-aughts and was always seen around with the it girls of the decade. The most popular night was Brent Bolthouse's Wednesdays, which was always the best day for a Paris sighting. Definitely not Paris. Iconic events that happened at Lax. On the 14th of December 2005, TMZ caught Paris along with her sister Nikki, running out of the club to go to Mood nearby. Paris explaining, "Lax is the worst club in the world. It's full of D-list celebrities." On the 9th of December 2007, TMZ filmed Malcolm in the Middle star Christopher Masterson getting jumped, and he got messed up big time. Guy's Bar. Just off Beverly Boulevard, Guy's Bar was a quiet, unexacting little place that is most famous for, well, I guess one of the most famous events of the young Hollywood era, Bimbo Summit. If you want a full explanation, check out this video. But if you want to download the Hooky Pooky, the Snuggle Gargle, after a distraught Lindsay Lohan approaches paparazzi to show a bruised arm alleging Paris had hit her, Paris publicist Elliot Mintz decided to get the two together, along with Paris' current BFF Britney, for a photo op to save face at Guy's Bar. Although the club isn't as well known as other Y2K young Hollywood hotspots, it certainly has made its name in pop culture history. Hyde. Had to save the best for last. Located just west of Sunset Boulevard, Hyde, at least in my opinion, is the most notorious Y2K club and definitely my favorite. Back in the late 2000s, TMZ had posted their star video paparazzi, Josh Levine, in front of Hyde night after night for more than half a year, and what he picked up was pop culture gold. Hyde is the clubs what Kitson is the boutiques. It's an entrenched part of the celebrity industrial complex, a place for famous people to have their paparazzo photo op without appearing too eager. Tuesday was A-list night. But what's most impressive about Hyde, and what makes it the superior 2000s club in my opinion, is the way it combined being a hotspot for young, rich and skinny celebutantes, with also being the place the cream of the crop of the entertainment world would go to hang out. On the same night that you could catch Paris and Kim dipping in and out and Misha Barton looking poked up, you could also catch Gaga coming in with a little bikini, Prince playing the voyeur and Beyonce dancing up and down the aisles. It was the place to go. What made it even better was that unlike other clubs, there was a strict no cameras, no press rule, so stars could count on privacy in the inside to do whatever they wanted, and then also get their picture taken when they finally left just before they blacked out. Speaking on this amusing phenomena, Ken Baker, West Coast editor of Us Weekly, said, "The reason you see so many pictures and videos from outside Hyde is that it's become predictable pickings for photographers, and the stars know they can go there if they want to get pictured. So it's like a nightly unofficial press line. I've known celebrities who will show up, get their photo taken, walk inside for 5 minutes, and breeze back out." It had a 100-person max capacity, so they only let in the best of the best, aka if you're a celebrity but your friends aren't, they're not getting in. The capacity was one reason so much drama happened at Hyde, because it was so small and basically just one open room, there was no place to hide from your enemies. Co-owner and legendary promoter Brent Bolthouse said it best, "In Hyde, you can't hide. It's a room and all the booths face each other. It's intimate by nature." Speaking of drama, let's recap some of the most iconic pop culture moments that went down in and around those four walls. In the summer of 2005, Nicole Richie and recent divorcee Jessica Simpson were captured having an awkward run-in, a moment we would have never been able to revisit if it wasn't for those greasy dudes in the mismatching clearance bin Abercrombie & Fitch shirts. On the 17th of May 2006, the infamous fire crotch monologue was recorded by one greasy bear Brandon Davis, along with a meth head crackle accompaniment provided by prominent porn star and Tina Fey accused tranny,
"She looks like a granny,"
Paris Hilton. It was one of TMZ's first big hits, as it had only recently set up shop. On the 26th of August, TMZ captured a disheveled Tara Reid as she begged to be let into Hyde, but was promptly rejected. A few seconds later, former BFF Paris swings by with her new BFF Kim Kardashian, and they walk right in. It seems that Tara didn't learn her lesson, as TMZ captured her again in 2008, begging for entry, this time at Villa Lounge, but getting promptly rejected again. On the 27th of September, teen idol Avril Lavigne was recorded shooting loogies at photographers.
You totally missed.
And then again a few weeks later. On the 4th of October, eyewitnesses captured Shauna Moakler apparently storming over to Paris, who had recently been pictured making out with Shauna's ex, Travis Barker, who is currently dating Kourtney Kardashian. Small world, huh? Shauna was screaming obscenities at Paris and then placed a sharp uppercut right on her jaw. Paris and her publicist Elliot Mintz then went to the LAPD's Hollywood division, where she filed a police report alleging battery. Here's a handy graphic from Us Weekly to explain the situation. On the 29th of October, Nicole Richie allegedly passed out on the club floor at Hyde just before 2 a.m, after which she was delicately carried, she weighed only 85 pounds back then, through the back door to avoid the press and driven straight to the hospital. Hyde is also the place where Lindsay was living La Vida Loca before she missed a set call for her new movie Georgia Rule, prompting a letter from the production company's CEO, James G. Robinson, admonishing her hard partying. As you can tell, Hyde is pretty iconic. Less remembered, but still important. Apart from the main hotspots frequented by Paris and Lindsay that you disturbed queens and queers fantasize about for one sweet hour before you binge yourself in Pringles and check up on your favourite internet fatties. There were also quite a few other clubs that kept a lower profile but were frequented by the hottest celebs just as much. There was the extra exclusive Crown Bar, which had probably the tightest rope in town and was known for rejecting big shots like Seth MacFarlane, Golden Brooks and Ali Sims. That is one tightrope. Then there was the super mysterious New York-like Apple Lounge that prided itself on being so star-studded that even swarms of gorgeous-looking girls were turned down. Expect to see the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio, Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan lurking beneath the low ceilings and red hues. Taking it up one notch, there's the super small, super exclusive lounge Coco de Ville, which accommodated a varied crowd from the Hills hotties, Frankie Delgado promoted Tuesday nights, to Kim Kardashian, Tila Tequila, and the A-list likes of Jamie Foxx and Diddy. Hollywood's top agents and attorneys also were known to frequent the lounge, so if you wanted to get on the list, you couldn't, because there isn't one. Taking it all the way up to the top, the uber upscale Villa Lounge was built to look like a billionaire's living room. Treated as a highly exclusive and lavishly sexy house party, the only way to gain access was to have a relationship with someone in the Villa family, making the door one of the tightest in Hollywood. Being a celebrity didn't ensure your entrance. Even the Britney Spears was denied by the iron door. And even if your parents were big Hollywood stars like Demi Moore and Bruce Willis, if you were underage, the Villa was a no-go zone. A lesson young Rumor Willis learned the hard way. So what happened to the party? Sylvain Bitton, one of the former owners of Les Deux, once told LA Weekly that the average shelf life of a club in LA is about 5 to 10 months. People, famous people, stop coming and the clubs begin to shutter. A hot thing can only be hot for so long. Of course, there will always be Hollywood hotspots. You can catch stars nowadays at the likes of Catch and The Nice Guy and Delilah, but they're not quite clubs in the same way they used to be. They're restaurants where you can also drink, or they're bars that absolutely don't require a minimum buy-in to enter. You won't find any scantily clad bottle girls hawking liters of Sky vodka, and you certainly won't see any bald-faced names fighting or falling outside. There isn't even really a core group of clubbers. Young Hollywood has dispersed to admittedly great effect. There's no constant crew of night owls, no one starlet you can be guaranteed to see if you wait in the bathroom long enough. The stars go out when they feel like it, but no one is a regular the way Lindsay and Paris and their ilk were. Kendall and Gigi like The Nice Guy, Miley frequents Nobu, and Selena Gomez can never seem to say no to Giorgio Baldi. When a new hotspot opens, A-listers will show up in droves, but they're well behaved and frequently won't be back. Young Hollywood still likes to wild out today, definitely, but they've also wised up to paparazzi culture and are much more discreet with their dalliances. Many relish time away from the bright lights of flashbulbs and disco balls. It's much cooler to just be seen as a relatable internet nobody who likes staying at home and isn't a manufactured star, like those dumb pop bitches. All of this puts the 2000s young Hollywood club scene firmly in the realm of relics, a bygone era that those of us who are old enough to remember or gay enough to be interested in can look back on. So what are we to do when we feel the nostalgic pull for the scandalous nights of Lindsay, Paris and Britney, and a craving for the euphoric wells of Les Deux and Hyde? Put on reruns of The Hills, of course. Are you a miserable millennial currently feeling nostalgic for the sweet innocent days of Paris tapes on 9/11? Or are you a young twink that likes to swish their hips when no one's looking and pretend that you're living just like your idols Paris, Britney and Lindsay? Let me know in the comments down below, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in hell.